Fast is fine, fake is fatal. It's great to want to get wealthy quickly. And a lot of people want to know, how do you do this? And the problem sometimes is that we go after things that are actually not real deals, or the people are not showing up authentically. We've had deals that have been absolute home runs. We've doubled investor equity in less than 12 months. We've had deals you had total losses on, right? And I'm very open, we talk about that, right? So I think this is what makes us better, is being able to learn. I think right now, these days, there are a lot of investments out there that are scams. There are people like get rich quick type of things, and they look too good to be true because they are too good to be true, right? So you need to have some sort of filter that you walk through. I walk through a few questions that I ask. And just a quick introduction, I'm the CEO of Bronson Equity. We have over 2,500 multifamily units. We've raised over $50 million for different assets. We help people like you produce cash flow, appreciation, and tax benefits through investments that we do. But I like talking about this topic because there's a lot of people out there in this space that are doing things that are not above board. So one thing I look for is reputation. Who knows this person, right? Who knows this investment group? Do I know anybody personally that's invested with them? Sometimes even sponsors will give different referrals, but it could be their brother or their dad or somebody, you just don't know who you're talking with. So a lot of times I'll find someone who tells me about an investment that I know, somebody that I know in my network, and they'll say, hey, have you worked with these guys? They're great. And I've invested with them in the last 5-6 years. Well, that's a huge good sign, right? This person has worked with them. I know this investor that, I have a relationship with them, and so they'll kind of give feedback on this specific group. If I don't know them, actually, there's an example of this. I had an investor who sent me some sort of investment, offer that they had gotten. I said, well, how'd you hear about this person? They said, well, it was like a click ad on Facebook or something. And then I looked at it and I said, I know a lot of people in real estate. I said, I've never heard of this person. It was kind of clickbaity type of stuff. And I was like, you can invest. But I said, it sounds like I don't know who this person is. And I don't know. There's a lot of fly-by-night people out of there, right? So reputation is really huge. Look at the online reviews, look at who they are. And it doesn't mean things will go perfect. I just shared we've had deals that haven't gone well, but it's, do they show up? Do they have the conversation with you? Do they pick up the phone? Do they actually share, this is what we're working on? Those things are really important. And people I respect a ton. On my book, Fire Yourself, Ken McElroy has over $3 billion in real estate. He's had deals that have lost money. A long time ago, recently, they've had challenges, right? Everybody at times has challenges. So how do you communicate around those things? How do you learn? How do you grow from there? So I look for people also that if they're providing any sort of pressure, I remember a guy was saying, these guys only give you this amount of time and I've got to invest and here's what it is. And I was like, there shouldn't be any pressure, or like they were doing a Zoom call and getting the DocuSign out right then to have the guy sign. I was like, it should never be that way. People should send, hey, here it is. If you want to do it, take your time, look through it, have your friend or attorney or whoever look at it if you want. So there's really no time pressure, right? And then, a lot of times people will make the too good to be true. Look at the classic scam, the Ponzi scheme by Charles Ponzi. They actually got him, Charles Ponzi is named after him. And his whole promise was he would double your money every 90 days. And so he would just simply have money come in and he would pay, the old investors with new investor money. And we just kept doing this. And eventually all of these don't work. They all fail. But he just had this kind of salesy kind of way of doing it. And here's what he could, but it was a too good to be true claim. There's no investment that you can double money consistently every single 90 days that they can just consistently do that. There's just no way to possibly do that. Maybe for a short time you could do it for once or twice and it happens, but the best investments typically don't offer guarantees. If you ever see the word guaranteed, it's usually a red flag. Really look for just real world, hey, here's what we've done. A lot of times great operators will say, hey, we think this is it's a higher return, but we actually, it's a 20%, but we kind of made it a 15 just because we wanted to be more conservative. And here's additional upsides that we didn't put in the deal that are other upsides. For example, there was one multifamily operator we worked with where they said, we've got these other 8 units that are not even built yet, but they're kind of there. And we feel like if we build these, we can increase the income and it would actually do more, but we didn't even put that in the numbers because we just wanted to be more conservative, right? So that's an example of someone who's being more conservative as an operator. So I think those are really important things. But again, you just want something that's real. Warren Buffett has that quote. He says, the rule number 1 of investing is just don't lose money, right? I wish I'd say I'd always achieve that. I haven't, personally and also in my business. But the biggest thing is if you can just avoid things that are fake, avoid people that are not actually presenting real things, and go with people that, you personally know, or maybe you have friends that have invested with them over a period of years, right? Then you have this track record that's there. You can ask about communication, you can ask about performance, you can ask about all this, because the more things become digital, the more now deep fake videos and all this stuff is there. Eventually you have video, you can't even tell what's real. It's getting so good. But what really makes it real is that we know we have networks of people. And this is where you need to get in the room with other people and make a growth in your network that you're growing and you're learning from people that are in the same space as you. And so this is why we created our group called the Wealth Forum. And this is a group of high net worth individuals. We get together, we don't pitch anything, and we just talk about the deals we're doing. We talk about the successes and failures, the opportunities, things we like. The speakers come in and we just get people in the room that are wanting to talk about investing, that are wanting to talk about, and it's not just tire kickers. These are serious people that are investing. So anyway, I really hope that for you, find a network with that. If you want to reach out to us, you can shoot us an email. You can send an email to admin@bronsonequity.com. We'll tell you about the Wealth Forum. We can also tell you about our investment club. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks for taking the time.